welcome to KD Custom Woodworking, and I'm Kevin Dunphy, your host. We're getting right to work. We're doing a mitered door, and what I'm doing right now is because this door is going to be glass, and also if you're doing wood and you're putting inserts, you can do it this way, not it after the wood. If this is your first time, it is a good idea to do it this way. It's because it's sometimes when you're new and you're trying to make a door, it's very hard to do. All right. So with that said, now I'm going, if you look at my dress over there, I have it set to 3/8 by 3/8 of an inch. And the height. Now I set the fence 3/8 away. And I put a little line there, even if you're a 32nd or 16th, it's not going to be the end of the world here. Now I'm setting my height, and I got a little mark there, and I'm just lifting the blade till I see it. Now I'm going there. That one is doing my depth on the edge. So that's going to take out give me a rabbit in basically 2 passes. Now just make sure that when you're doing a lot of production, that fence is down. Another good thing to do is put a little clamp there, so there's some chance of it moving over time. Now I go face down, and I've got my hand there, but I'm fully away from the blade. The blade's only 3/8 up. On this part I'm going, the good face is up. And I'm just using my little stick, special stick. Anybody wants it, just let me know, and I'm more than happy to share the link. It works good on so many fronts. I can't explain why in this video. You almost need another video on it. And you can see it works one shot. I was a little low, so I just raised the blade. It won't make that much of a difference to raise it. I'd rather make sure I get that cleaned out nicely. And really, that's all there is to it. And now I got my groove, and I'm super clean. If I had longer wood, I would put some feather boards there on the table saw to keep it pushed in, because I think I'd slip. But I cut these to almost size because the wood had a big hook in it, and I wasn't comfortable trying to get it nice and straight. So I chose to just cut it down because I'm only doing 4 simple doors. And really, that's once you get going, you could do this all day long. And what's cool about those little strips, in my case, I'm going to use them to put the glass in. It'll look so much nicer to have wood strip. It'll be kind of like old school, you know. I've used those plastic things, but they start to turn yellow, and they do look cheap. And I put silicone in it to keep it from rattling, but there again, you're adding plastic, so it's so much nicer to add I get to wood like that. This, and what looks great is because it's a glass door, and to pop this in. The other thing, if you're just starting out and you want to make a door and you're not comfortable with the panel, you can always do it this way and insert the panel in after, just to because it does when you're first starting out, figuring out the depth and getting it in there, and you're not sure if it slides in. You want to get comfortable. I suggest that. The reason is you can stay focused on, getting your lumber, making sure it's flat, all those things that are going to make your door, like you don't want your door to start warping. Now I cut those to about a little over that size, and the reason was on part of the wood, there was a big curve in it, so I said, to hell with this, I don't want to lose this much. And I just cut it there and straighten it out and try to get a better yield. Now at the 45s, this is fantastic. So I'm going to make exact size, and then I'm going to trim after like the 16th around. One nice tight fit. So I got a 32-inch cabinet. I need 4 doors. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the part that, watch your mind for a minute. You don't have to do it with, I'm going to do it with one setup. I'm not going to do it with my dual. Now, I'm going to come this way, my cut, then I'm going to flip up and have my stock. Let's see if this is going to work. But before I do, I'm putting the headphones on. I know I'm sounding like a broken record. A couple times I was making cuts and I mean, I'm getting ringing in my ear, and I don't think it's a good thing. All right? So, upside down, in the fence, if you're not sure, just do a little line. All right? This is my first 45. I want it like that. So my glass on the inside. All right? Now I'm not going to screw up. Because there's nothing worse than when you make a mistake on the setup. And then you're trying to chase it. What did I do wrong? Here we go. Easy. A little bit of tear up. I'll live with that. Because I'm going to sand the crap out of it. Now I'm going to go here, and I want a 32-inch door. And I'm going to do one other thing. Double check. That's perfect. That's perfect. I mean, this is the wrong thing to check for 90, but take a peek, you know. I can't ask for better than that. And then really that's all there is to it. And because you have your cabinet, if you're just starting out, a lot of times with measurements we can get goofed up. And then the visible 1 inch. I've been guilty of it, holding a tape upside down, then going there and you feel like, and it's right here. So I'm about a 32nd over, which is okay. I don't know what that bang was, but... And that's all there is to it. I'm going to investigate my bang. It's really cold here today, so... If you're looking around here and I have other jobs going, I'm doing about 3 or 4 at a time, so sometimes I do once a week, and I might only be doing a little part. And the other thing is I don't want to skim coat this, show us a 2-minute operation. Watch this video if you're learning how to make 45-degree doors, and do it again and watch it. Once you master this, it's fantastic. Then if you want to go mortise and tendon, you could. I could have done mortise and tendon on this, like you saw the day I watched the other videos, because all the videos connect, like the little steps to get there, to get there, to get there. So if you're following, I know there are people out there, the 10 of you, just go out there, follow, and you'll gain a lot. All right. So thanks to those that are watching. The important thing with the miters is they have to be set exactly. If you have one longer than the other, there's no way that door is going to line up, and it's just going to be crooked. So take care on this part. Whether you have like the Craig stop that I have, or you just have your own homemade one. Doesn't really matter if you put a clamp in a block of wood, but just keep it exact and you'll have no problems. All right, what I'm going to say here, and I don't mean any disrespect, or to anybody that's maybe doing something one way and then come along and say you're wasting your time. But I will say it, you're wasting your time with the Craig jig. Nobody in their right mind would make a door with screws and pop it like this and go. But yet I've seen it, because I try to do my research with each video. And I will call out somebody. And what you can do is say, well, look, I want to see the guy's work or whatever. Look at what they're doing. And try to get, pro tips. The thing about pros or whatever, their stuff's been in houses for a long time. So if they're in business, they're doing something right. Usually they get called out. They're getting their ass sued or trying to get to court. So, use a little bit of common sense. And I would suggest somebody starting out, you saw the video, get a table saw, bolt it down, you find them used. I know SawStop came in the corner of the market and jacked the prices up. And, because of a $600 part, which is silly. Like, you double the saw. So, shame on you, SawStop, for doing that. And yes, I will call you out. The most dangerous thing you're going to have is something like this, or hand tools that have blades in it. When I was younger, I used to go like this, freehand, and man, I was pretty wild making doors, and you do the whole kitchen, you just get in that zone, to get it done. I don't do it anymore. All right? And the reason is, the wood kicked out, this blade came out like this, and hit my thumb, but believe it or not, I saw it like in slow motion, but I couldn't move my hand fast enough, my left one, and it was like it was in slow motion. It was the weirdest thing. Anyways, I lost my nail. That was it. So I came up with this little jig. I'm not as fast as freehanding, but hey. So make the jig. You want to get into these doors. Make sure your equipment is finely tuned. You got true 45s. I know here, like if I push this here, I don't have any gaps. And then that's what I want. Like if I'm off on an angle like this door's not going to be there. Okay, enough of my rambling. And that's it. Here we go. Here's one. I don't even have to mark it. I'm just going here in the middle. And then that's really all there is to it. The only one that's hard that I'm not a fan of are these little ones here. Alright, so I'm going to go down at the other end. That's a lot better. Don't buy these ones I bought. These are really cheap. Go into Harbor Freight or whatever store. You're going to make this. And maybe put about 8 of them on here. So you can kind of handle getting these. But definitely don't get the cheap ones. I did that mistake. And I've been too cheap. And it's stupid cheap to do it. The other thing that's a bit crappy is this thing, like going here, like that's what holds it, eh? Yeah, I know, eh? How long is that going to last? All right. Once you get your jig set up and you're comfortable, it goes quite fast, biscuiting them in there. So, take your time. You see I got both hands on that biscuits joiner. I'm holding, like if you watch how I'm doing it, I'm holding the top and I'm pushing it underneath. And really just be comfortable with that. 2 hands on that machine. I can't stress that enough. If you have to use the other hand to hold it and steady, use a clamp. Don't do it by hand. It's take it from me. It's not worth it. I know I'm repeating myself on this. Okay, so right now I'm getting the small one ready. and there I was kind of wobbling a bit, so I just got a quick clamp. I put a little block in there to keep me pushed out a bit because I was hitting there, and I was able to tackle a small one no problem. All right, so I'm ready for the gluing, but before I glue, I want to touch on a couple of things because, like I said, things that last. Do I know that it's last? Because I want to stay in business. Like right now, I don't want people knocking on my door, so my doors are blowing apart. And I can't emphasize that enough. Even if you're doing it for yourself, last thing you want to be doing is redoing your own work. Now, I brought a couple of doors here. Like these doors are all probably about the same age, or if not older. This one may be a little older. And this one, if you can see right here, I'll show you. It's made, there's a machine that you could get. It's a commercial machine that can make the 45-degree doors. All right? And it's like they got like a little groove. Anyways, I'll show it on the video. And they put a little dowel in there. This one like glue, let go. Only because it was like glue starch, but it is only really a matter of fact to put some glue in there and push it in. Now, I made this about 5 years ago, and you see my rails are like a little wider. I'm trying to give it a little more vibe. And if you look back there, there's really, like, I'm not cherry picking this. This is from the showroom. I'm not even heating anymore in the winter. I don't bother letting people in there. This one was a walnut, and the same thing. You know, there's no, where you're looking is on the finish, and even if you go here, like you look here on an angle, and you'll see it cracked. That's how you can tell. If sometimes what it is with the factories, they're not putting enough glue because, you know, it's a pain in the ass to clean up. So that's usually what happens. So I don't do this out of, well, I think this is great, but what I like about, compared to the factory one or the biscuit, now I have this whole gluing surface. Now that's a hell of a lot of gluing surface. That's basically the whole door right across. So I'm going to end up at about 2 5/8 here. I'll end up at 2 1/2, and it just works. You don't have to overthink it. Could I get the commercial machine to start panning them out? I got to do a lot of doors because that machine's about 25,000. So I'm not about to do it. How long did it take me to glue it? Like, I don't have a gluing rack, and here I am with the clamps. You'd be surprised. I'll do this, definitely, these, 4 doors in less than an hour. It might take me a little longer, but usually when you get going with it, it's just the way your brain works. I can do it under 10 minutes. So 10 minutes a door, so that's 5 an hour. So in a day, I could do a whole kitchen. All right? That's it. Let's glue. Put the doors back, so let's glue. As for the glue, this is probably when you first do your first couple of doors, you think it's taking so long and you're going to seize up because those biscuits do swell up. Remember that, eh? You don't have all day for this, so make sure, within 5 minutes you got those pushed together, which is really a long time. And, make sure there's lots of glue on those edges because those end grains drink the water. They'll just suck that water up, and you've heard that expression, glue-starved joint. What that usually means is the water sucked out that glue, or the end grain sucked out all that water in the glue. So, be careful with that. And, even with dowels, that can happen sometimes. They'll just drink all the moisture out of that glue. And sometimes put too much glue in, and it acts as a piston, and it can't push the wood in. So, be conscious. That's why I like spreading it out. All right. So that's really it. I mean, I could do this all day long. I'm adding the clamps. On a couple of them, I was okay, but I had the four doors, and I figured, okay, I'll get the extra pressure and make sure my corners and everything's nice and tight because I only got so much pressure with those straps. The straps are not as good as the clamps because they're basically, it's just cloth mesh, so it stretches. That's the reason why. Okay, doors. The next day, the doors are done. They're right here on the cabinet, and I would suggest to anybody, make sure you match them to your door, and you can't go wrong. I know I'm pretty good here, so like on my sand, my gaps should be nice and tight. I try for 3/32. I know it sounds silly, but 1/16 of an inch is too tight. They will rub. An eighth of an inch looks a little thick. I'm okay here. I'll show on the install next week. Sorry, I'm yelling because of the fan. I put a little filler strip right here, about 1 inch. So that allows me to go in and out, and I'll get that 3/32. It's really hard to do. And you got a trim going on top. The only other thing I can say is somebody that's new or starting out, trying to make a name for yourself, trying to, create your own doors. Because I think the door machine, unless you're making doors 24/7, is not worth it. Don't even buy it. Or even one of those upcut saws, I don't think they make that much of a difference. The only thing I could do here was more production. I had people working who would get pneumatic clamps right here. Just get a foot pedal, boom, hold that down so that there's no chance of the vibration. Last thing is, if you want, this is about 30 years old. This is my doweling jig. I used to use it all the time before biscuits came on. And God, did I love this. You can go at the bottom here and put it down after the fact and just cut it out. I'm not going to do it like show you here on the camera. I mean, look at my glue. Like it's like rock. It's like literally like it's insane when the polyurethane goes in there and makes it explode. So now the little gaps that's there is just all full of the polyurethane glue. So I know that it's not going to go any further. I might have done it if I had a wider door. If I was getting a chunkier look, like say over 3.5, I might be tempted to sneak it down, maybe right there in the middle. Because you got to be careful on putting too many dowels, because I've seen it. They got the doweling machine, and then they start putting about 5 dowels here. This wood has to move. It has to go back and forth. So with the polyurethane glue, it'll go back and forth. And you can't stop wood moving. So if you put too many, it won't go. And especially if you put a wood that's harder than the mahogany or something like that, then it will crack. Thank you for watching. Enough of my spiel. I'm going to go finish these. I'm going to take the blade width off. I'm going to sand. I think the sanding should be a separate video. And I'll explain my sanding. I have to install this next week. I got the legs here and concrete going in and this going in. And I got a difficult challenge because you always think that you made a mistake. Okay, every install, it's just the way it is. I got a template, even though I measured. It's just the nature of the beast. And I laugh at it because I'm doing pretty good. But I know, I'm guaranteed this one. The sink would be a little tricky because of the notch, but I'm prepared to cut the concrete if that need be, or take up some of the drywall in the back. So we're gonna go on install next week. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll continue these videos. It's hard to do the whole project because sometimes it takes like a month or 6 weeks to the shop because we do other jobs. We're doing like it's just the way it is with a shop like this. You're doing 2 or 3 jobs, even though we got the renovation house, but we can't start full time on that because we have frost. So I'm trying to ease the cost of it, not at the full financial burden of the shop on that project. So I'm just doing a couple of small things. So thank you again for watching. Tune in next week. Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe. I'm going to show these doors being installed next week. I'm also going to show a simple way how to install the doors on a cabinet, really like 2 minutes, and you won't make a mistake with the European hinges, because I know they can be daunting. And there again, please subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.